And today we're going to be taking a look at Zen. This is a new jailbreak tweak that was just released in beta yesterday, and it is essentially a lock screen enhancing tweak. It provides you with pages on your lock screen that you could scroll between to essentially provide you with useful information without even having to unlock your device. There's also some improvements to notifications and album artwork and much more. So this beta is $4. However, if you owned Convergence, which is essentially the older version of this tweak, it's only $2. And of course, if you decide to buy the beta, the final version, as soon as it comes out, will be free for you. So let's go ahead and jump to the lock screen and I'll show you guys what this tweak is all about. So essentially, of course, here's my primary lock screen page. And basically, if I want to access the other pages, I just slide to the side like this, and it's going to allow me to access various pages that provide useful information. So here's a calendar page that I can actually interact with, see my upcoming events on different days coming up. Very useful. And of course, I could just slide across. And this is my favorite one, the weather widget. I could just see all the weather, see what's coming up without even having to unlock my device. That's very useful. I have an improved control page. It's very similar to Control Center, but it provides some extra benefits that it doesn't that the normal Control Center doesn't have. And it also takes up the entire display, so lots of room there. And I could also slide the other way, continue to slide to access different pages. So here's my widgets page. It looks very nice, as you can see right there. And we can slide again, and here are my favorite applications that I configured in the settings to show up right here. I can just tap on any of these applications and it'll open my device straight up to that app. So very useful stuff to have on the lock screen. I also changed the slide to unlock gesture to slide up. And I recommend that you do the same because it's much easier to essentially be able to slide in both directions for your pages and, just have sliding up for the locks gesture. Of course, if you have Touch ID, that really doesn't matter because you could just scan to unlock. But let's go ahead and jump to the settings and I'll show you guys a couple things that I think are worthwhile that you should know about in the settings. So let's jump to the Zen settings, and up the top we have the nice enable and disable switch that's very well designed. So I want to touch on some of the notification stuff and the album artwork stuff. So let's just jump into home page, and here's the notification style settings. So there's a bubble and stock. So it's currently on bubble, and I'll show you guys basically how it looks different than it normally does. So there you can see it has that different look to it. I think it looks a little more translucent. It's kind of more, there's more room between the bezel and the actual notification. And I can also tap to open as opposed to swipe. So that's very useful as well. So I could just tap like that to open up that notification. So let's just jump back to the settings. I also wanted to quickly touch on notification grouping. So essentially this allows you to group the notifications on an app by app basis. So essentially it's not going to clump everything together. So basically if I received a notification from 2 different applications or more, it's going to allow me to essentially tap the applications up at the top, as you can see right there, and then switch between different apps that'll show up here. So if I had another application that was giving me notifications, I could tap to switch, and of course I could also expand and collapse them, as you can see right there. So very nice look, very nice design, very good function. So let's go ahead and go back out here, and I want to show you guys some of the medium artwork styles. So let's go ahead and start playing some music here, and I'll show you guys square, and this is very similar to the default one in iOS. It just shows you the square in the middle. However, as you can see with this tweak, there's no blur in the wallpaper. Now let's go ahead and check out full screen, which will essentially just blur the album artwork full screen in like this. It's zoomed in, as you can see right there as well. And then we have combined, which combines square and full screen. So you get the square, but you also get the full screen blur in the background like that. So if you want to customize the album artwork, you could use those settings. I also wanted to touch on unlock swipe directions. So again, I recommend upwards just so you don't have to sacrifice either left or right, because again, that's nice for switching between your pages. And again, if you have Touch ID, it doesn't really matter. So just keep it on upwards. And again, even if you have Touch ID and you still have it set on left to right, it'll still not work. So just set it on upwards. And of course, if you don't have Touch ID, you could just swipe up to unlock. But if you do, you could just scan anyways. Let's just go ahead and unlock our device here, and we'll go back out. So I definitely want to touch on the content pages. So essentially, once you install the tweak, go in here and select edit at the top, and you're going to need to do this to enable the pages. So when I came in here, nothing was enabled. So essentially, things are going to be down below at the bottom like this. Basically, you just drag them up to where you want them. So as you can see, there's a little simulator up here. You have your primary unlock page, and you can basically just rearrange these pages to where you want them to be, release, and select accept. So again, once you're happy with your layout, hit accept, and you're pretty much done at that point. So you could just go ahead, head to the lock screen, and now, everything will be reflected in here. So just make sure you do that. Also, I want to touch on the launch pad so you can configure your favorite apps. So basically, to configure your own apps, you could just select plus, and you could add, an app of your choice. Let's just go ahead and add, let's say, the Compass app here. Then it will show up. You could also remove applications by selecting minus like that. and there's also icon size. And I also recommend you toggle on require passcode to open, because if you don't and you have a passcode on your device, people will be able to access just these apps by tapping on them. They won't be able to get into your device, but they will be able to access those apps. So definitely toggle that on if you value the security of those specific apps. And if you tap on these, settings, there's essentially some configuration options that pertain to those particular content sections. So go in there and configure those to your liking if you want to. I also wanted to mention the peek feature with this tweak. It essentially will allow you to peek at your device, what's going on with it, without actually waking it up. So if your device is locked, or it's in your pocket, or it's facing down on a table or something, when you pick your device up, it should automatically wake up on its own, and essentially in this like grayed out half awake state show you what's going on before you actually fully wake it up. So I'll just pick the device up here, and as you can see there, without me touching it, it's kind of this grayed, hazy look, black and white to it. So as you see, I have a notification here, and it's showing it to me without me having to do anything. In the settings, it looks like it's supposed to show a notification count, just like 1, 2, 3, but for me, it's just showing me the actual notification. I'm not sure if that's a bug or something, but of course, I could just wake up my device fully. And if you guys head over to settings, you can go into Zen, and then go into additional features, and then you can go into Peak, and you configure it to your liking in here. So you could essentially configure the sensitivity and also the interval in which it updates or checks for changes. And the next section is visible elements, and we have the toggle for the status bar and pending notification count. And as you can see right there, it looks like it's supposed to show a count, but I'm not getting that right now for whatever reason. I mean, it is a beta for that matter. And there's also theming inside the additional features section that allows you to change the look of it in here. You could go in there and customize that to your liking. There's also the morning summary, which I just wanted to talk about as well. This basically allows you to set your wake up time right here, and this tweak will actually prepare information for when you wake up and you pick up your device, wake it up. It's going to provide you with useful information, at that time. So you can set that up here, if that's something that you want to check out. There's also some, advanced options down here if you just want to configure things to your liking, fine tune everything. And of course, you could support the developer. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up my, look at this tweak. I definitely really like the looks of this. It just provides you with a lot of information on your lock screen. So if you guys do want to install this, it's, a little bit different than what you might be used to. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and link you guys to the Reddit thread that the developer posted about this tweak. And basically what you're going to have to do is go here on your device in Safari, and then just scroll down in the thread, and there's going to be a link right here to purchase it. So you're just going to go ahead and click on that link, and it's going to open this page here. You're going to open up that URL in Cydia and just follow the instructions. You're eventually going to be asked to install something called Beta Vendor, and it sounds a little confusing, but it's really not. Just follow the steps, and it'll walk you through everything, and you can install the tweak, buy it, and use it. So really awesome tweak. I'm looking forward to this hitting Cydia, for everybody. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to this channel for many more videos pertaining to Cydia tweaks, iOS updates, that kind of thing. Also, make sure to follow the channel on Twitter, like it on Facebook, and also make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'll put all those links down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy this tweak. Peace.